I got it! When I first heard about Dave being trapped in a maze...
1, 2, 3, 4!
I built a labyrinth. Can you believe it?
Dave is trapped in a cardboard maze in his living room and he can't get out.
Welcome to Dave Made a Minute, the podcast where a whole bunch of us are exploring the film Dave Made a Maze 1 minute at a time. The twist. Many of the participants have never seen the film. Some don't even know what film they're sampling. They get their minutes and they tackle them as they see fit. Here's your host from the Groundhog Day Project and Michael Myers Minute, Robert Black.
Minute 51, Gordon and Boom Operator keep the Minotaur from getting into the apartment. Visual note, because Chris and Rudi don't notice it. The shape of the cardboard projecting out of the wall forms the 5 fingers of a giant hand. To tackle Minute 51, we have Chris Frain and Rudi Thornburgh have opened the podcast doors. How?
You come home, there's a giant maze in your living room. You're like, what the... There's a giant maze in my living room. I've heard of people rearranging the furniture, but this is wackadoodle crazy. Give me a sense of that.
This doesn't make any sense.
The problem? The promise to my segment. But solutions, problem.
It's like a fucking cocktail party in here.
I get a few words from you before you go.
Hello and welcome to Open the Podcast.
No!
Yeah, okay, man.
Hey, everyone, it's us. Remember us? We're the guys from...
Open the Podcast Doors. Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I'm Chris Frain.
I'm Rudi Thornburgh.
And this is whatever the heck this is, Minute.
Yep.
I keep wanting to say .org or something.
I just write Mystery Minute on my notes. That's all I got.
But I think there's a Movies by Minute podcast for Mystery Men. I'm not making that up.
I know.
And it's called, I think it's called Mystery Minute.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Correction. It is called 5 Minutes of Mystery. I repeat, 5 Minutes of Mystery.
I never saw that movie.
Correction. You should see that movie. I repeat, you should see that movie.
I think I did.
Okay.
That was like that was prime grad school. That was that brief moment of time when Hollywood acknowledged the existence of Gen X.
Mm-hmm.
It was like from 94 to 98.
Yeah, I think this was 96. Because I think it was
Mystery
about the time.
Man,
I think I was last year in high school.
97, somewhere in there. Like, oh, there are these people in their 20s, and as soon as I don't know what changed that, but
I have a pretty good idea of what changed it.
Titanic, because it was all 12-year-old girls going to see it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I was going to say September 11th, but yeah.
Oh, geez.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Wasn't thinking about that, but...
Never forget.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she had anything to do with September 11th.
Mystery Man. I never saw it.
We've entered a Mobius strip of podcasting conversation, and I'm going to break us out of it by saying we are covering minute 51. Thank you. Of whatever the heck this is. We are right in the thick of this action.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea. We know what the basic premise now is, where there's a guy trapped in a dimension that is the last minute that we covered was minute 8, and we saw these these elaborate cardboard box fort that was built in a living room. It appears now that they are maybe deep in the bowels of this fort, but we don't see the...
I think they're in the exterior of the fort because there's that sign that says enter.
Yeah,
the
that's
exit
weird.
Sign that says enter right there.
That's weird.
I think they're still in the exterior. And
you think they're in the... so this thing is... But they're not in the living room.
Nope.
So maybe they're in like a warehouse.
Yep.
It looks like a warehouse or something.
Maybe they had to move it. Maybe it's in the basement.
It's like a Howl's Moving Castle situation.
Well, of course. That's what I was thinking of.
And we have, I did recognize the character Gordon.
Gordo.
Who, just based on his name, I assumed he was Canadian.
Or from Melmac.
That's right. Never heard of it.
Didn't see it.
The only dialogue in this minute that we have is him whispering, help me.
Yeah.
And he's whispering it, which is strange.
Well, he's talking to the cameraman that's right in front of him.
Right.
So maybe there's something around like a beast inside the fort or the fort itself that he doesn't want to hear him.
Right. So it's like the quiet place, which just came out,
It's
where
a
like
terrible movie.
where the monsters could only, I guess, locate you by sound.
Right.
And he's holding back these boxes.
They're trying to expand.
Right. And they're growling. Something's growling.
Mhm.
Either the boxes are growling.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest sentence I've ever started.
Yep.
Or there is a monster behind the boxes pushing the boxes out.
They're extending like telescoping tripod legs, one smaller box inside a slightly larger one. They're kind of pushing out, and then he gets some duct tape and he's taping over what looks like the doorway with the enter sign above it.
And that seems to temporarily solve whatever problem.
They tape it, and he's talking to the quote unquote film crew. It's one of those wacky, don't take us seriously. Here's two idiots, one guy with a camera and then the boom mic guy.
Mm-hmm. I have some information about them, but go ahead.
Okay. And then they come help it, or the boom mic guy helps him while the other guy films. They tape it up, and once it's taped up, they walk away relieved, and then the boxes that were extending retreat.
Right. I have no idea what that means. Any of that means. I'm sure whoever's doing minute 52 or 50, we can all put our heads together once this project is done and figure out.
Well, whoever's doing minute 52 gets to see the scene with the Valerians.
Right. This minute ends with
about 4 seconds.
About 4 seconds of lady dancers.
Yep. Black silhouettes, bluish purple background, maybe more steam. I can't remember. There's music.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yep.
That's all we have to go on.
Yeah.
So whoever's getting a minute after us, they can tell us about that. Yep. In this minute that we watched, there's some neat sort of organ fugue type music.
Yeah,
it sounds like
kind of spooky, like it's a haunted house.
Right, like Toccata and Fugue in D minor sort
for
of thing.
fans of Rollerball 75.
There you go. Who's your favorite rollerball team? Are you Energy?
The Houston Energy, yeah.
Yeah.
You kidding?
Yeah.
Jonathan. Anyway. Yeah, it's like a haunted house. What did I say?
Yeah, you got that organ fugue music going. So the camera guy, the actor playing camera guy is Scott Narver.
Who I interviewed back in minute 19. I repeat, minute 19.
I looked him up on IMDb. He does not have too many credits on there yet. However, he was involved in something called Inside Guy, and he was a voice on the video game L.A. Noire, which was one of those games when I heard about it coming out, I got so excited.
Yeah.
And then when it came out, I went, I'm not ready to get into that yet. And then I totally forgot it existed. So I might track a copy of that down and play
if you have a copy of
L.A. Noire. And basically my understanding of the premise of the game is you're solving crimes by interviewing witnesses. Yeah, that's about my reaction too.
That was an off mic yawn. I had a late night last night. I was watching Mystery Men.
I thought you'd never seen it. Liar. See, I caught you. This is exactly the gameplay mechanic of L.A. Noire. And the boom operator is played by...
Boom operator.
Exactly. That was the very first note I had. Frank Kayetti? Katie? I thought I recognized him. And turns out he was a cast member on Mad TV. Probably also a cast member of Reno 911.
It's a great show.
And was also in the movie The Lake House.
Never saw it. Is that the Keanu movie?
It's exactly. Keanu.
Should I watch it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I'd watch The Lake House.
It's like a time traveling thing, or
somebody's
like sending messages
cross-dimensional.
Yeah, just like our movie that we suspect is the premise of this movie we're watching. Yes,
maybe. Yeah,
maybe. Let's see.
Chris, can you guess what the Valerians are all about?
At the very end of this?
Yes.
I couldn't. Is there a 1980s dance club in this alternate dimension?
I mean, I wonder. I feel like, some other character is like at a club, and then they're going to call him and be like, you got to get over here right now, man.
Right. And it it would be funny if he was supposed to have been there in the first place, and then he forgot. And
they cut to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, or what? Yeah. The box is coming from inside the house."
What do you think the title of this movie is? Now, I actually know, but I'm not going to say.
I saw the file name, and I don't know if that's the title of the movie or not.
Go ahead.
So, well, the maze or maze.
You're close,
right? But I liked the fort.
Yeah,
Fortin with Will.
Fortin with Will Forte.
Fortin with Will Forte. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's a good guess.
Valerian's The Armageddon.
You're getting colder.
Our idiot roommate.
Stick with the maze.
Eternal Sunshine.
And we'll reveal at the end of this.
The Maze Runner.
We'll reveal in the next minute that we do how close Rudi was.
I don't know the name of this movie.
So, like we were mentioning in the first minute of this podcast, we are the hosts of Open the Podcast Doors, Hal. That's a movie by minute podcast where we cover 2001, The Space Odyssey, 1 minute at a time. If you're a fan of that film and you want to listen to 2000
minutes
of Open the Podcast Doors, Hal, good teamwork.
Yep.
Then come find us on iTunes and Google Play and Spotify even. And we also are on Twitter at 2001 Podcast. Instagram,
Open
Facebook.
The Podcast Doors, Hal.
We've got a Facebook group called Space Station 5.
Delta Force 9.
And
Space
what
Station
else?
5.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, we will see you in another minute of this movie as yet to be determined.
Thank you so much for listening.
All the traps, and then we can finish this maze. Who is with me?
That was Chris Frain and Rudi Thornburgh of Open the Podcast Doors, Hal, taking on minute 51 of Dave Made a Maze. They have already been back in minute 49. Next time on Dave Made a Minute, we've got Tierney Steele and Mark Carlucci of Return to Oz Minute taking on minute 52.
Thank you for listening to Dave Made a Minute. Intro dialogue snippets were taken from Dave Made a Maze, directed by Bill Watterson, written by Bill Watterson and Steve Sears, and produced by John Charles Meyer. Intro music is Diversion by The Equals, featured in the film Dave Made a Maze, and Life Cycle of a Match by Parvis Decree. Outro music is Leaving This God-Forsaken Place and Her Presence is Strong Here by Parvis Decree. Dave Made a Minute is a production of Lemming Drop Studio and all other featured podcast producers. You can find more content at lemmingdrops.com. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Dave Made a Minute. If you like what you hear, throw us a rating and review on your podcatcher of choice, and check out all of the participants' other shows to spread the love around. Again, thank you for listening.
As long as we're all working together, this is going to be fine. It's going to be great.
I need you to notify the families of everyone who died here today.
Totally. Wait, what?
Jake may have some problems, but he's not going to be sent to prison.
Yeah? Tell that to my cousin, Pretty Boy Shumway. He grew up on the south side of Melmac, the baddest part of the planet. If he didn't like your shoes...
You mean he'd shoot a person just because he didn't like his shoes?
No. He'd just point at them and go...